So we're on to song 3 off of the Arch Matheos record, which is Under Stained Glass Sky.
Right.
So you mentioned on the earlier, a couple of the earlier songs, that really you wrote this record kind of in sequence.
Right.
So obviously this is the third song you wrote.
Yep.
So Neurotically Wired is a pretty long song as well, but this one, I think this is the longest one on the record
14
as well.
minutes something.
So when you're writing something like this, is there a piece that comes to you first and then you add some pieces around it, or does it all kind of flow on the same thing?
It always happens different ways. It's just a matter of coming up with parts that I like, and then...
How did this one specifically, though, happen, if you can remember that far back?
I think this was 2 separate songs originally. There's a long instrumental section that's like a 3-minute instrumental section, and that was a separate piece. And then the main body, which is like the edit, it starts with the edit of the song we did. That was a separate song, and that was probably, I think that was all written from start to finish like that, just putting it together and saying to myself, well, what would fit next here? And it's hard without the vocals, I'm writing everything instrumentally and kind of hearing how the vocals will go in my head, so.
Now, did you when you were doing that, at what process do you bring John in? Was the song finished before you get him in?
I always wait. Everything's completely done before I play it for anybody. Bass, drums, everything. It's like a final product, except for vocals and lyrics.
So you said you're hearing some stuff in your head.
Yeah.
Do you tell him some of the melodies, or you just let him go?
When he writes melodies like that, there's no sense for me telling him what to sing. Very often it's funny because I'll write parts, I'll give him like a map. I'll say, here's the verse, here's the chorus, here's the bridge. But a lot of times he'll come back and he'll be singing over the lead section, and I'm like, no, and then I'll get used to it. No, that's a really good idea.
So give it a shot, because maybe what he's got going on under the lead just facilitates a nice melody line or a nice section for me to sing over. And yeah, he'll give it a chance. And
so when you get something like this, John, that's so long, because obviously it's finished, is it like a daunting task of like, okay, I've got 13 minutes I got to fill here. Where do I start?
It is, because it's a daunting task because you go in with an empty mind. I mean, you're starting from square one. But again, it's a building process, and I dissect them and I take it bit by bit. You can't just imagine, you can't possibly think that, okay, you're going to sing this, you're going to write something and sing through the whole song the first time, and there it is. That's not, you don't open up a box, that's the way it is. It's a piece by piece dissection, and you're putting the headphones on, laying in bed at night, listening to it for 1,000 times, you're going over. It's just a long, tedious process for me. It's not something that just comes like natural.
With this specific song, obviously there's a lot of music there, and you're certainly not singing over all of it. Are you the one that decided, okay, I'm going to let that intro just stay on its own, then I'm going to start singing here, or Jim says, okay, this should be the intro part, and the singing part should probably start around
Jim
here.
has
So Jim has the kind of the thought process.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's open for interpretation too. Like I said, there's certain times he'll be singing over a part that I didn't hear singing on, and it takes me a little while to get used to it because I've heard it so long instrumental. But in the end, I go with it. So.
And the song title is to me such a phenomenal title, Under Stained Glass Sky. It was really cool. Like, where did you come up with that?
Again, hearing this song for the first time, I might add that this is probably the only song that diverts away from the ongoing theme through the album, and it had such a Middle Eastern feel, to it. I don't know where you came up with this in your head, but man, it's totally different. And there was no doubt what direction I wanted to go. And with it, I had a few ideas. And so Stained Glass Sky, we were talking about the relationship between us in the Middle East. It's about religion. It's about a lot of different things. But it's an interwoven tapestry, which we are undeniably caught up in. And there's a lot of ideas going on that are open for interpretation. But there was no doubt that this song, it just ended up, I can't hear it any other way now.
Well, and does the subject matter?
Stained Glass Sky, yeah.
Yes.
Looking up, I'm sorry, I saw a picture, doing some research, because if I'm going to sing about something, it's not that I know a lot about the Middle East. So I did a lot of research on the Middle East, and using some of the terminology and some of the words, along with a story that I had written. And they showed a picture of a mosque that just had this beautiful dome stained glass sky ceiling. So you just look up at it, and I said, stained glass sky. And it had a lot of connotations with heaven, religion, just a lot of different things. It fit the song perfectly.
Phenomenal title, and the whole song is amazing, really amazing.
Right.
When you look at a song that's this long and you're thinking about the whatever subject you're going to write about, does the length of the song play any part into what you're going to write about? Because you've got a lot you've got to write about. So you're thinking like, I could write about this, but well, maybe this would be more interesting to go into that subject because I could do more with it. Does that enter your head, or it just kind of flows?
I don't think there's that much thought involved with it as far as coming up with enough lyrical material. Of course, when we're talking Psych 101, which most of this album is about, for me, there's endless material to deal with that we can relate to. All, anybody that's human can relate to what I'm talking about. And if you can't, good for you. So no, I don't think that much thought goes into I find a way, I come up with enough material. But I must say that all these songs, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. They come full circle lyrically as well as musically, and I think that's key. There's a foundation, a central foundation to the song that it goes off on, I don't want to say tangents, but off on a different, it goes off in a different area, but then it returns to the main message of the song. And to me, that's important.
I think if anything with John, it's a problem with the songs being too short. He has more to say, so if you give him a 20-minute song, it's no problem
once I get
for
into
him to keep going.
So the next record will be like a 3-album box set with 20, 30-minute songs.
It's going to be like Tommy, but we're going to call it Jimmy.